In the last class, we understood big O notation, right? Big O notation we understood in the last class, and what it does, it simply signify least possible upper bound for any algorithm performance, right? Or we can say worst. It will show worst case scenario of an algorithm's performance, right? Okay, let us start with other notation we have for best case evaluation. We can evaluate our algorithm on the basis of best case also, which is our second one is big omega notation. Omega notation represented by this symbol, right? Omega symbol. Okay, so today we are going to study big omega notation, and the purpose of big omega notation is simply to signify lower, or we can say lower bound of algorithm performance, or we can say at least, or we can say best case evaluation of an algorithm, right? Whatever you say, but you need to know what we mean to say by lower bound and best case. So let us understand it by trend line. let us say we have let us say we have x-axis for number of inputs, which is represented by n, and y-axis represents time taken by algorithm, right? So let's say we have this one trend line for our basic function of our original function of our algorithm, right? And what we need to find, and let me choose some other color so it will better to understand. So in this case, if we want to represent any function with big omega, that what it means is simply we need to find an other function gn, or we can say c dot gn, such that the performance of new function should be lower than our function's performance, right? Or we can say in other word, fn should be less than or greater than equals to cgn, right? If we want to present our base function with omega notation, if we want to say that fn is omega of our assumed function gn, then what it means that our gn should be less than equals to our base function, right? So this should be true in case of our assumed function. So here for if you are writing this, so here n should be greater than equals to n0. You all already know what is n0. C should be greater than 0, and n0 should be greater than equals to 1. At least one input will be there for evaluation of any algorithm, so that's why minimum value of n0 could be 1 only, not less than 1. So here n0 is here, right? So let us start with our simple example. Start with our simple example, which we have used earlier. For the same example, we are going to prove that our assumed gn should be less than equals to our original function of an algorithm, right? Okay, so let us assume that our fn was 3n plus 2 and we need to find gn. So in this case, if you want to find gn, so what will you do? You simply find the dominating term in this equation, right? Or we can say, we can write it like this here. If we put these values in the function equation above, so it should be 3n plus 2 should be greater than equals to c dot gn, where c is a constant, right? So if you see this equation, let us say this is equation 1, right? So in this case, what should be the value of gn, so that this equation will satisfy? So here, if you want to find the gn value, appropriate gn value, you can choose it by dominating term, and in this case, in LHS, dominating term is our n, right? So let us choose our gn equals to n only, right? Now check, 3n plus 2 should be less than equal to c dot n, right? I am replacing gn with n, right? I assume that assume gn is n, because I saw that this is the dominating term in the LHS, or basic function, so it should be near about gn should be n, right? Now let us choose the c. Now we need to choose our c constant such that this equation holds true all the time, right? So if you see that, if you choose c equals to 1 and n equals to 1, let us choose that, then what will be the case? N is equals to 1, 3 plus 2 should be greater than 1, 1 into 1, right? That is 1. Yes, it is satisfying the equation. So the best possible value, the first value we can have in this case is c equals to 1, and for n equals to 1, it will also holds true. Let us check whether it is holding true for other values of n. Now let us choose n equals to 2, then what will be the case? 3 into 2 plus 2 should be greater than equals to 1 into 2. That means 6 plus 2 means 8 is greater than 2. Yes, it is holding true. For rest of the values, it will also hold true for rest of the value of n, right? So what it means, now we can say for c equals to 1 and n equals to 1, this relation, this equation holds true, right? This equation holds true, so we can choose these two minimum value of c and n, right? So we can say here, if gn is n, then 3n plus 2 is omega of n, right? What it signifies? It signifies simply that our function n is omega of our gn. That's what why we want to prove. But this is, for this, the minimum criteria should be c should be 1 or greater than 1, right? And n should be greater than equal to 1, right? So for greater than 1 value for c and n, every value of c and n is satisfying this relation. That's why we can say that our base function is the big omega order of gn, right guys? So that means we assume, if we assume gn equals to n, that means we can say that our function base function is greater than c dot gn, what it means, it simply signifies that function fn could be written as the omega of gn. So what it means that this is showing the best case. In the best case scenario, that the our assumed function will satisfy this condition after n equals to, n 0 will equals to greater than equals to 1 and above those values, but before that value we cannot say that it will holds true. But for the positive values greater than equals to 1 and 0 greater than equals to 1, it is satisfying all the values for function n fn and gn, right? So that's why we can say, if we are using gn as n equals to as n, that means this algorithm performance will be the best one, because its time complexity is less than our base functions complexity. So assumed function is signifying the best possible case of any algorithm which we are evaluating at the time of assumption, because it's totally assumption. We haven't implemented it on the system, but by using mathematical relations only, we are proving that gn is satisfying the best case performance of an algorithm of this algorithm. That means fn could be written as omega of gn, right guys? So this is what we want to describe in big omega notation. Now come to our third notation we have, which is used for average case evaluation. So what it means to say, if we understood big theta notation, omega notation, what it means to say that on the basis of big omega notation, by using big omega notation, we are simply evaluating our algorithm on the basis of best possible cases, right? For example, let's say if any algorithm function is taking 10 second of time in the system, then our gn will say that not that in the best case it will take 7 second or 5 second according to its function value, right? So on the basis of best case scenario, we are evaluating our algorithm, that this algorithm is good one, this algorithm is bad one, right? So now come to the whenever we are going to evaluate our algorithm on the average case value, average case evaluation, then only we need big theta notation. Third one we have big theta notation, represented by theta symbol. And what it shows average performance of an algorithm, or we can say exact time, or we can say exact time, when we are bothering about exact time of an algorithm without running into the system, right? So for that case, if we want to prove that function n will be theta of gn, then let us draw first trend line, then only it is easy to understand. Then average case should be such that this is time, this is n number of inputs, right? So if we are going to plot a trend line, let us say we have this one, our basic function. So we need to find two functions such that which one where one will one function will upper bound it, and one function should lower bound this particular function we have. So let us, for example, let me draw two trend line C2GN and C1GN, right? So for this, for proving that function n is the theta of assumed function or assumed function gn, so what will be the constant here? Constant will be c1 gn should be less than equals to function n, and function n should be less than equals to c2 gn, right guys? So this will be the condition for being a theta of gn for function n, right, where c1 and c2 obviously should be greater than 0, because if it will be if you found it 0, that means the assumed function will automatically be 0, because you are multiplying c1 and c2 with gn, right? And n should be greater than equals to n0, and n0 should be greater than equals to 1, because it is the minimum number of number of possible inputs we can have in the algorithm, right? So now let us take an example, same example. We have uh, example, we have function n like 3n plus 2, and let us we assumed our gn as n. Let's say we assume that our gn is n according to dominating term, right? Now let us check c1 and c2 value for our gn, right? So let us choose first for c1, right? We are evaluating for c1. So if we want any function to be less than the basic function, what it means, our c1 dot gn should be less than equals to our basic function, right? And our basic function is 3n plus 2, should be less than equals to c1 dot, and gn is our n. So what should be the cn value? So here if we put cn value 1, let's try with value 1 for c1, right? So is the case true? Yes, it is less than 2. So the minimum value we can have for c1 is 1, right? For c2 c1 2, let us check. 2n is, don't be confused, 2n is less than equals to 3n plus 2. Yes, it is true. And for, let us say, c1 is 3, for 3 let us say 3n should be less than equals to 3n plus 2. Yes, it is true. But if we are saying that for c value 4, so 4n should be less than equals to 3n plus 2, then there is the complex issue. We cannot say that 4n will be less than equals to 3n plus 2, because the value, the dominating value here is 3n. right guys. So it could not be greater than this. So for that case we need to find n's value other than 1. If n is 1, now check for 1. 4 is less than equals to 3 plus 2 5. Okay, yes, for n equals to 1 it is holding true, but for n equals to 2, let us check. 4 into 2 equals to 8 is less than equals to 6 plus 2. Yes, for n equals to 2 it's also proving. And for n equals to 3, let us check. 4 multiplied by 3 12 is less than equals to 3 3 9 9 plus 2 9 plus 2 11, but 11 is not greater than 12 or equals to 10. So that means we cannot take n equals to 3 and n equals to, oh sorry, c1 equals to 4. So least possible value for c1 will be, in this case we can choose for least possible value. Value of c1 will be 1. From here we found that c1 should be equals to greater than equals to 1 at least, and up to 3. We can take up to 3, not more than that, because for greater value of more than 3 we cannot say that for every value greater than 1 in case of n it will hold true, right? So here, from here we found c1 as 1. Now go for c2. In case of c2 we need to prove that Fn should be less than equals to C2 dot Gn. What it directly means 3n plus 2 should be less than equals to C2n, right? So C2n. So if you find that dominating term here is 3n and the coefficient of this dominating term is 3, definitely the C2 will be greater than 3. So greater than 3 will be first value will be 4, nearest value is 4. So let us take 4 as C2. 3n plus 2 will be less than equals to 4n. So now for the least value of C2 we can find that 4n is greater than 3n plus 2. Now put n's value. Now for n equals to 1 it is holding true. Yes, it is holding true. 5, for less than value of true, n value of 1, it is not holding true, right? So now check, that means we cannot take n equals to 1. So n equals to 2. Now for 2, 3 into 6 plus 2, sorry, 2 plus 6 plus 2, 8 is less than equals to 8. Yes, it is happening. That means we can take n equals to 2, right? And for n equals to 3, let us check. 3, 9, 9 plus 11 is less than equals to 4 into 2, 12. Yes, for 3 also it is holding true. What it means, we can take n0 should be greater than equals to 2, right? So here only we found that for C2 value should be 4 in this case.